Monire mosa tampokelelani. On this channel, I support you to learn Chitumbuka language, and the Chitumbuka is spoken in Malawi, Tanzania, Zambia, and other neighboring countries like Congo, Zimbabwe, and places like that. So, in this video, we are exploring the language of monthly periods, right? Menstrual periods, okay? All right, so without wasting much of your time, let's get right into it. Okay, so we are saying here menstrual period, kumwezi. Kumwezi means, mwezi is a month. So kumwezi, it means it's that time of the month. Yeah, like monthly period. Kumwezi, menstrual period. Okay. So at the same time, we can say kukula umwali. Kukula umwali, it's the first period. We'll get to that. All right, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's just look at this. When the blood is coming out, oozing blood, kutika ndopa, or kusurula. Kusurula is, for example, if you put water in a bucket and the bucket has a hole at the bottom, the water is coming out. That process is kusurula. So it's like something is dripping out of that bucket. Something is dripping out of this woman. So kusurura. The liquid is dripping out. Stain. So if you've made a stain on your skirt, on your knickers, on your dress, we call that kudinda or wadindira. Oh, madindira sketi, madindira liraya, wadindira. Meaning so if you hear that language, just know that you need to check yourself. Because siketi ya dindika, madindira sketi, madindira liraya, madinda. You just check, oh my God, what the hell? It's not the hell at all. It's not the hell. So if you are using cloth as your, instead of cotton wool or a pad or something, we call it denga. Dengarani lilikoje? Nanika dengarani huko. So you know, I'm, I've, I've, I'm drying my piece of cloth somewhere or something like that. So if you hear this word denga, it means it's someone's piece of cloth that they use during monthly period. Denga. Okay. Cotton, tonje. Padi, mapadi. We use cotton a lot, I think, because we grow cotton a lot. So cotton is the most common one. Very common. Even in hospital, cotton is common. Padi, mapadi. But I still had to bring this because it's also still in use. Maybe I'm out of touch, but hey ho. Mapadi, tamponi. Okay, so I said here, kunjija. Kunjija is inserting tamponi, right? So these are kind of like newish. I'm not talking about the city and stuff like that. I'm in village at the moment. That's where I operate from. Okay. In the city, tampons are everywhere. You can get them in shops and all of that. So if you say tampon, people know. Kunjija insert. First menstrual. Yes, I said we'll get to this one. This is a crucial milestone. Very, very crucial. It determines almost everything about your life, your future and everything. The first menstrual period. Okay. So when you are regarded as an adult, everything changes on this day. Everything changes. So when you experience your first period, you are supposed to tell an adult because usually before that, it was never discussed. Maybe now things are changing. People are sitting down with their grandchildren and discussing with them in advance. I'm not sure. But I'm just talking from what I know. So when the first menstruation comes, you are called Mwali. Huyu ni Mwali son, meaning she has had her first period. So Mwali means an adult. So if you, and you know when you are being called an adult and you are being titled to say you are an adult, that comes with everything. I mean everything. Whatever you are thinking is also what is in my head. Yeah? When you say everything. So Mwali adult. Kukula umwali is the process of becoming an adult. So like I said, this is very crucial. You get your first month menstruation, you tell someone. You can't tell your mother if that's the only one you live with, but usually people will tell to their auntie or your grandmother or your in-laws, like your brother's wife or uncle's wife or something like that, because your uncle's wife is your auntie and stuff like that. So they are the ones who handle everything. So once you tell them, they say, sit here, let's get to toilet, let's get to wherever, so they can teach you how to wear what and how to walk, how to sit, how to now what to observe in the community and what not to do and what to do. So in terms of things that you cannot do, when you're in your menstruation, you are considered dirty. So I'm making this video today on the 7th of March, 2026. Tomorrow is the International Women's Day, but us in our community, we have an event today for International Women's Day, organized by Coventry African Women Group. So what a topic to discuss on International Women's Day. Oh my God. Just yesterday, I'm trying to look for okay, maybe I'll bring it in a minute. Just yesterday, I saw on Facebook one of is it bloggers or vloggers? It's a famous Ghanaian man, Odemaya, was showing a video about how how any woman who is menstruating in this particular community, they have a specific house. You are not supposed to be found in the village, but only in this house until your period finishes. Then you go back to your houses. Hello. In our case, the first menstruation, you are kept for that week because there's a belief that you may, because you are not experienced or something can happen, you may not be able to know, to master yet how to dress, and therefore something will happen. But that 7 days that you are kept there, it's also a time when some form of wisdom is passed on to you. I don't want to call it wisdom. This one kind of like it in quotes. It's a difficult topic to talk about in the first place, but I'm sure we'll get through it. So during that time, like I'm saying, some wisdom is passed on to you. So there will be things like life skills, something beneficial, something like, okay, this is how you will be carrying yourself because you're an adult now. You need to wear chitenje. You need to do this, you need to do that. But also the consequences of um, sleeping with men or something like that. I don't want to mention some words because of YouTube. sensitivity, and things like that. But that same first period, what it signals to the entire world is that you are now an adult. And therefore, predators are all over the place. Usually, when a child hasn't had their first period, everyone sees them as a child. But then predators ask each other, has she had period already based on how that child looks like? Why? Because they are predators. So they are after you, right? So this is why I'm talking about. It's something that every child dreads. If you know about it, you're just like, oh my, you dread because you know that a lot of things is going to take place. So it kind of creates fear, it creates that. So what happens is you tend to hide your first period. You have a period, you just be figuring out on your own because there's something that you are afraid about to face it because there's a lot that comes with it. That's the part that I also feel like it needs to be demystified because, yeah, apart from the predator stuff that I'm talking about, because that becomes now a defining moment in terms of she needs to get married now. She's old enough. Why is she still here when she has had, she's a grown-up woman, blah, 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 and all of that. But I also talked about how you dress, it changes because now you're an adult, how you carry yourself. You cannot play with your age mate again as long as they are behind you, they haven't started period. There has to, you have to show that you are an adult because now you're an adult and all adult stuff also start coming in on top of your head. During that process, I must say, I wasn't kept for 7 days. I was in the city by the time I had my period, my first periods. What- I would just say first period, but I still had to receive some so-called, not so-called, because there is who is dominate, but there's also thing that, yeah, okay. Bored when when we were growing up, most girls who have had their first menstrual period, this is how we used to recognize them. They will cut all their hair out using a laser blade, so the head will be bald. Usually during that time, women were not meant to be bald, but for this sake, that's the only time we saw women, girls, they're coming to school with their heads shaved. You know that they've had. So, like I'm saying, it's kind of like it's like it's a defining moment. You are grown up, but also it's kind of like because usually bored is associated when someone has lost his husband, her husband. The women used to be bored, but now some women refuse. They just cut a little bit of hair. Some people they get offended by that you are not cutting your hair. It means you are up to something. Maybe you've already found another man or something like that. So it's kind of like bold is like to shame you or whatever it is. So they used to do that. I was not bolded, but my hair was cut somewhere somehow. I think I cut the whole hair, but not bald. And so saying a sissy cutting hair. The other thing that you also do not do every month, when you are in your monthly period, you don't touch salt. You can't put, if you're cooking food, it will have no salt. So everyone who tastes that food, if it has no salt, they know that it means you are having your monthly period because the food has no salt. So people put it themselves. If someone is nearby when you are cooking, you ask them, can you come and put salt in this food? Then they put and stir it. You don't touch salt. God knows why. Like I said, your dressing also changes. You start wearing chitenge. Chitenge is a wrap that you cover yourself. it adds respect to you so that you are not all over the place a little bit. Chitenji kind of like puts you together. Mm? Initiation, kulanga, dango. Like I said, the wisdom that I was talking about in quotes. So we call that kulanga dango. Mlangani dango. Aka mlanga ninjani. If you are, there will be enemies behavior of some sort that you are rude, you are still rude, you have carried like a small child tantrum, and everyone will be like, who gave initiation to this one? Because she's not, she doesn't look like she was um given dango. She was given the the proper initiation lesson. Okay. Hygiene kujipwelelera. So this of whether you are using denga, it means your denga needs to be washed, dried outside, folded, kept somewhere. It's not something that someone should be finding or seeing or something like that. And having baths and changing and all of that. So all of that information is given to you. And yeah, like I also said, this is a defining moment of several things. Everyone now expects you that you are now a grown up, you can get married, and predators are all over the place uh, fetching you. So let me stop here. Did you learn any word? Blood is ndopa. I think we started on that. Somewhere it was mentioned kutika ndopa. Ndopa is blood. Kutika is kutika or kusurura is coming out of the blood. Okay. So this is it for the period. All right. I would love to see your comments, whether you want to say something about your own culture or what you call it in your language. I would also want to learn in your language. So, kumwezi. Nili kumwezi, meaning I'm having my monthly period. Naruta. I'm no. This is just for this. I'm no. All right. I'm old lady. I'm ideally. Okay. That's a discussion for another day. Bye. Bye.